Welcome back to the Justice Factor as we continue our 1-hour special on the life and times of Nelson Mandela. Together with his comrades, Mandela was sentenced to life in prison at the infamous Rivonia trial. As the famous song Asimbonango Mandela says, even Mandela's image was banned in this country. Growing up in the 1970s and 1980s, we just did not know what Mandela looked like. Cheryl Carlos, a leading member of the United Democratic Front, was among those who prepared for the release of Mandela in 1990 and was one of the first ANC members to see Mandela before we all saw him walk out of Victor Verster prison in February 1990. Together with Sports Minister Fikile Mbalula, they will tell us about the role of Mandela in the struggle before 1990 and what his legacy is today. Let us begin with this look at the legacy of Nelson Mandela.
Scenes like these would suggest that Nelson Mandela's legacy is secure in South Africa. The country now a non-racial melting pot, a home for all. But Mandela knew that these great images hid deep divisions and wounds still not healed. Apartheid reduced human relations here to ashes. Its legacy was bitterness, division, and anger. A legacy Mandela was determined to overturn from the moment he was released from prison.
The responsibility for driving the passion of nation building and reconciliation in this country is not something that can be done by others. It's something in which I should take a lead.
I'm very excited. I feel we have the right to our freedom to vote.
If, as has been said, the task of a leader is to get his people from where they are to where they have not been, Mandela surely achieved that. In fact, few can touch him in the entire 20th century. At the end of apartheid, it's easy to forget now, few were ready to reconcile. On the one hand, many in the white minority saw their privileged world crumbling around them.
They will now find out what it means to lose power and to have no power of your own to protect your own freedom.
For many blacks, majority rule was to hopefully mean a settling of the scores, revenge for past injustices. Mandela chose a different path.
We had to face the question of how to bring about a new South Africa without bloodshed.
Mandela's genius was realizing that a divided South Africa was economically doomed. People here, black and white, had to work together, and he could be the glue that bound one to another. So he made reconciliation the defining feature of his presidency.
He was the master of the symbolic gesture. There was, of course, his appearance at the World Cup, having tea with the widow of the creator of apartheid, Hendrik Verwoerd, his wife. He had this tremendous skill of appearing at a symbolic moment in a symbolic way to make this symbolic gesture.
South Africans are undoubtedly more comfortable with each other now, and much of that is Mandela's legacy. The 2010 World Cup gave us a glimpse of a possible future here, one where class and race matter little. But Mandela's legacy includes values of hard work and selflessness. Many fear that the leaders of today are undermining the work he did.
This business of self-enrichment has become too kind of prominent in terms of the value system of many in the country. It's just a general social challenge, I think. I'm saying a value system driven by self-enrichment. I don't think it can be good for the country.
Today, a lot of people are joining the ANC because, or the SACP or COSATU, because they see that you have to be politically connected in order to for you to be successful in business. I think that it is wrong.
The basic needs of the masses of the people must be addressed.
Nevertheless, Mandela still looms large in this nation's conscience. There remains a feeling among many, an intangible sense that to tread the path of other African failed states is to let down this country's greatest ever leader.
If we can engender a feeling of self-worth and self-esteem amongst people at large, that will be the way that we eventually tackle our problems. And in the sense, the one guy who said this was Steve Biko, you know. That was his great philosophy. So, you know, I'm just hoping that the Mandela kind of style of reconciliation and the Biko philosophy of helping yourself, creating an entrepreneurial society, those two things will lead us to resolve these terrible problems that we still have.
Mandela's secret really is honesty. When you strip away everything, Mandela was honest and he kept to his message, which was effort by everybody in South Africa, everybody to be given the same opportunity to develop their skills and to develop themselves, and therefore to develop their country.
For me, the most important thing is to create space for new leaders to emerge. Not only leaders who are, whose pedigree is within the liberation movement.
There is nothing as invigorating as to do something which makes people around you to smile.
If these words are heeded by all, Mandela's vision for South Africa may yet become reality. The deep divisions bridged, and the wounds still not healed, at least treated. His vision has already come to pass in some ways, in the small interactions between the races every day, where barriers are broken down and presumptions cast aside. Every bridge built like this, every hour, every day, keeps the flame of Mandela's legacy burning bright.
After the break, we look at Nelson Mandela, the man, the activist, the militant, the reconciler, with my guests Cheryl Carolus and Fikile Mbalula. Stay with us.
News that moves. ENCA.com.